What's going on, my peoples? It's your boy Mr. OBF back one time for your mind. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you guys get the live streams when we go live, people. And if you can, donate to the channel. Go to OBF, the real Cash App, and donate to the channel, people. We highly appreciate anything you guys could donate to the channel. Need more information to subscribe and donate to the channel is down there scrolling below, people. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button. Share the videos, people, so we can push the movement, people. Tell somebody that knows somebody to tell somebody, okay? Y'all know how we do, man. Play my theme music.
I promise you won't regret that. Nigga try to bet on my speed and you gon' get bent back. Disconnect the constantly on it in your mouthpiece. Tell them I'm a sniper and beat them without me. Nigga try to copy this and I want me rap though. That's first, my blowing khaki, you wanna strap on. Check that. You pull on off and shoot it and terminate. Check that. See green peak, when you heard of this. BBO rapping, you got it box for it. Black cap, they say you want his me, but he not though. It's neck, tell him I'm calling me that go-come. Big fat, go get a cash, cause you a broke hole. Skip that, go from Columbia, first Timmy off. It's back, messing this step, we got it now. So, what you do, I'm trying to throw this ball. Need a bitch that don't know, get some more than the hey, holla, girl, bro. Stomping your polo, blue and polo club. Yeah, bro, Cartier vision, I see you all wrong. Yeah, bro, Sachi and Papa, I smell. Yeah, bro, try doing numbers and got to sell, bro. Yeah, bro, check out that outfit, I'm about to kill it. Yeah, bro, niggas in prison, we got to feel it. Yeah, bro, they wanna hear it and hear it again. Yeah, bro, I'll rap a nigga about what the deal is. Yeah, bro, like when you stick something to it, with this bitch, get this bitch, put it in your name. Did you put it from my sleeve? Look like I'm feeling, I'm chilling on right every time. Get out the space, all of my niggas, I'm pulling the rap on Gucci, they rag, they copy it. Niggas are stopping, I'm dropping in there. I got the sleeves, I'm hotter than they are. Be hitting the leg, the neck, the chest, the thumb, the scope on the top of the AR. When I phone you with the bass and get them, come drop on your ass forever. Beast stick, I'm beast stick, and I'm in the middle like Malcolm with her. Dirty bird, I'm a bathroom flipper. Double up, I'm a bathroom whipper. Big corn, but the double six in the 4-6, let me add the nigga. Tell her that my prerogative, fashion, I'm rockin' the vocative. Watch the nigga, you nigga can't fuck with my balls. The nigga who say that I'm hard, you probably will. Yeah, bro, stomping your polo, blue and polo club. Yeah, bro, Cartier vision, I see you all wrong. Yeah, bro, Sachi and Papa, I smell. Yeah, bro, try doing numbers and got to sell, bro. Yeah, bro, check out that outfit, I'm about to kill it. Yeah, bro, niggas in prison, we got to feel it. Yeah, bro, they wanna hear it and hear it again. Yeah, bro, I'll rap a nigga about what the deal is. Yeah, bro.
Alright, people. Y'all know what time it is, man. Let's get the show started. Alright, people, it's your boy Kenny Man back one time for your mind. Welcome to the OBF, the network. People, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you guys get the live streams when we go live, people. And if you can donate to the channel, go to OBF The Real Cash App and donate to the channel, people. We highly appreciate anything you guys could donate to the channel. Need more information to subscribe and donate to the channel? It's down there strolling below the screen, people. Make sure you guys hit the like button when you come in the building and leave the building, people. Share the videos, man. It keeps the movement pushing, okay? All right, people. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Coon alert! Coon alert! Goddamn coon alert! This nigga Stephen A. Smith. God damn it, Stephen A. Listen, man. I know Stephen A. do a lot of shit for clickbait. I understand that. He want to go viral. His time of being who he used to be is written on the wall. We all see it, bruh. We all seen how arrogant you are about your status and who you may be. We get it. It's not even confidence at this point. We all know it's just arrogance. And anti-hate yourself. I mean, not anti-hate yourself, but hate your damn self. Okay? We know you hate yourself, man. Listen. So, if nobody knows, Stephen A. Smith decides to go on First Take and decides to all of a sudden finally give Kyrie Irving the respect and the love that he should have received in the first place. That whole thing in Brooklyn was somewhat of a disaster because nobody really could stay healthy. They really didn't play that much together. You know, mainly the person that was always playing was Kevin Durant. You don't like, he get a lot of slack and shit for, you know, shit that he does, but the one thing you can't discredit Kevin Durant on is him staying healthy. I mean, not staying healthy, but him playing the game of basketball and love playing basketball. We know this about Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant got a lot of the bulk of what happened in Brooklyn. But the disgusting part of what happened in Brooklyn from people like Stephen A. Smith was to disrespect Kyrie Irving on his personal beliefs. Stephen A. Smith, let me just say this. I don't give a damn if you decide to go to work every day and kiss ass for a living. That's on you, bruh. Kyrie stood for something. And it always mind boggled me, people like Stephen A. Smith that has a problem with brothers and sisters like that. I don't give a damn how much Kyrie was getting paid. I don't give a fuck how much he's worth. If he's standing for the cause of our people, we supposed to ride with that. Now you live in the white man's world where what you're worth matters. If you ain't people, it's not the amount of money in the world to have self-pride and respect and morals and principles that you can stand on as a person. It ain't enough money in the world. All money ain't good money. And if it's a cause out there that people are not paying attention to, that is harming people that look like you, the money don't matter. But Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if he ever had it or he forgot about it. But however you look at it, it's still fucked up. But he did all that shit disrespecting Kyrie Irving about all the shit off the field that off the court that so-called affected him playing basketball, right? And he really disrespected Kyrie. It got to the point where the disrespect got so bad that Kyrie dad had to check Stephen A. And he didn't do it publicly. I think maybe his uncle or something did it publicly, but his dad checked Stephen A. behind the scenes and tried to point things out to Stephen A. Smith that Stephen A. Smith was doing to another brother, someone from the neighborhood of where they all grew up, that helped him. See, you're talking about people that helped Stephen A. to get where he is, and for him to get in a position to disrespect another brother the way he did Kyrie was just despicable. But we know that he does this type of shit. But let's get into him finally get on his show and actually apologize to Kyrie Irving. I haven't seen the clip. Somebody from one of the subscribers sent it to me. I said, Kenny, you got to see this. And I said, all right. But sometimes, y'all, I don't watch clips before I do shows. I want to see this shit. I want to hear this shit and see it when y'all hear it and see it, so we can break this shit down. And this is one of those clips. Okay? And I got another clip of Stephen A. Smith on some bullshit once again. But anyway, let's move on.
Let me move on to this last subject before I go to break, because it involves Kenny Smith and Kyrie Irving. Kenny the Jet Smith for TNT, the great Kyrie Irving for the Dallas Mavericks, who may be on the verge of winning his second NBA championship, by the way, which is an incredible story within itself. But anyway, the topic that I'm about to get into is a bit personal. It involves...
And let me say this. It's personal because he made it personal. I need people to understand this. Kyrie, Dad, Kenny Smith from TNT, they know each other. This is not like somebody that didn't know. I'm going to explain y'all something very carefully. Did y'all ever notice, like when Stephen A. Smith, way back in the day when he first had his show on ESPN before he got fired, you know who the first person that gave him an interview? Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. R.I.P. to Mama, to the Mamba and Gigi, and the rest of the people that's lost their life on that helicopter, and their families' condolences go out to them. You know, Kobe Bryant stopped fucking with Stephen A. Smith, and the reason that Kobe Bryant stopped fucking with Stephen A. Smith, everybody kept thinking it was because he was criticizing Kobe. It wasn't that. It was the way he disrespected Allen Iverson, somebody that was supposed to be his boy, that he had a relationship with, and actually gave him some of the biggest stories to uplift his career as a journalist, as a sports journalist. And he disrespected Allen Iverson. He does the same type of shit that he does now, he did to AI. That's why I don't understand the athletes that even deal with Stephen A. Smith. Why y'all keep entertaining this fool? He is no one to be trusted. His power and the money he makes means more than y'all having a relationship. He will discredit you, tear you down when you make mistakes, but his friend, his white friend, and I'm going to keep bringing it up because I'm not letting that shit go. His white friend, Dana White, abused his wife on video, and he gave him a pass. But he won't give you a pass. Another brother that just probably made some mistakes or whatever, or standing for a cause. The Kyrie Irvings of the world The Colin Kaepernicks of the world. But his friend that beats women, we seen with our own eyes, he gives him a pass. So Stephen A. Smith is not to be trusted. I don't believe it's bad because you want to give people the benefit of the doubt of certain shit, but I can't believe shit Stephen A. Smith says because he's a phony. But let's get back into it.
Kenny, my brother, my boy, Kenny Smith and I go back decades. His brother Vincent Smith used to train me. Lost Battalion Hall, Queens, New York, all of that stuff. I got a scholarship, a basketball scholarship because of Vincent Smith. Love him to death. But Kenny Smith and I go back that long. Last night, the TNT crew was discussing the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason. Because Kyrie Irving obviously has gone through so much, you know, being accused.
Let me say this. I want to give shout outs to Kyrie. Kyrie, I am not one of those brothers that ever doubted your game, your love for the sport. Never doubted that. I understood what you was trying to say and what you was trying to do. Because regardless of my occupation, my integrity and my morals and my people come first. I don't give a damn about an occupation. An occupation is just to make sure that I live the life I want to live or some shit, right? But my morals and integrity and who I stand for means more to me, and my people mean more than a fucking occupation. So I wasn't one of those brothers that gave a damn about you wasn't on the court playing and all that other shit. Okay? I didn't give a fuck about that. I gave a fuck about what you was talking about and what you tried to stand for. So this whole notion of Stephen A. Smith talking about, oh, Kyrie, he's been through a lot. No, if he has been through a lot, it's because of you. A brother like you, ain't my brother, but a brother like you got on your platform to discredit this man's love for his occupation or the game that he plays. Then you ridiculed him for things that he was trying to stand for because you had this different, I guess, ideology of it. But that's one thing. Another thing, you tried to destroy this man's character. And that's what I'm not forgiving. I'll fuck your apology. I really don't care. You was out of pocket like you always are out of pocket when you're talking about our people. But when it comes to your friends, the white man, you always give him a pass. But you hard on our people. And I'm still trying to figure out where's the empathy and the love if you're a black man or a black person for your people when they're going through some things. I see no empathy and sympathy for what you did to Kyrie. You attacked the brother's character or who he was as a person. His desire, his love for something. But when it came to your friend that did despicable shit, said despicable shit, side with despicable people like Donald Trump, you gave him a pass, nigga. Listen, Kyrie can accept your apology, nigga, I don't. Fuck Stephen A. Smith. I see right through your coon ass. But anyway, let's move on with the bullshit.
The anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic remarks just because he retweeted something and stuff like that, getting suspended, having to deal with some of the things he's had to deal with, the whole... And
I'm going to say this again. To all those so-called Jewish people that said that Kyrie was being anti-Semitic, you can kiss my ass. always mind boggle me of people that be discriminated against, right? Always try to blame the black person for being trying to discriminate or being antisocial towards them. Please, niggas. Please, you motherfucking, some of you Jewish people, you can kiss my ass. I ain't like how you treated Kyrie, but fuck you. You ain't the only Jewish people in the world, bitch. And that's not a race. It's a religion. And let me just say this. This is why a lot of them so-called, and I call them racist Jewish people. I don't give a fuck. Listen, that's why some of y'all be mad. Because y'all understand, y'all know that we understand that that's not a fucking race. That is a religion. That is a belief. Calling yourself a Jewish person. Ain't no different than anybody calling themselves a Christian person. And you know that. Being a Christian does not have a skin cut, it's not a race. It don't matter what color skin you are. You could be Christian, Baptist, Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, all that. And it don't matter about your damn race. And you know that. And you know that we know that. So that's why you got mad at Kyrie. We all know this shit. Ain't nobody, he wasn't being anti-Semitic towards you. He was, I looked at that documentary. That documentary was just telling motherfuckers, a lot of these white Jewish people be acting like they're the only Jewish people. And we know how you white Europeans like to hijack religion, like to steal other people's culture. We know this. So I don't give a fuck about them Jewish people that got upset at him. Fuck them. Anti-Semitic. Bitch, I believe when you called him anti-Semitic, I believe you was being anti-Semitic, bitch. How about that shit? But anyway, let's move on. I'm still pissed about that shit, what they did to Kyrie. This man got to go sit down with rabbis and shit. No, bitch, how about y'all come sit down with some people in the black culture? How about that shit? Well, listen, you know what? We never demand when these racist pieces of shit disrespect us and call us all types of niggas and shit. Hey, y'all gotta go sit down with our pastors or some of our black leaders. We don't do shit like that. You know what we do? We say fuck you motherfuckers and keep it pushing. Cause we ain't got time for you cracker ass crackers. Yeah, your words hurt, but they ain't gonna stop the motherfucking movement, bitch. And we gonna check you. And if you run into the wrong black person, you might get your ass whipped. But let's move on. And listen, this is no disrespect to all the Jewish people. The Jewish people I'm talking about, they know who I'm talking about. Let's move on.
With thing and not wanting to play, not wanting to take the vaccine and all of this other stuff, ultimately missing an abundance of games and obviously things going south in Brooklyn with him.
And you did that. You helped do that. Listen, did I like that Kyrie didn't want to take the vaccine? Did I believe that Kyrie was getting disinformation and he was going on for some of that shit? Yes. But I didn't question the man's integrity about who he is. I just looked at it. I'm not arguing with these niggas no more. I'm not arguing with people about COVID. There's nothing to argue about. He don't want to take the shit, he ain't gonna take it. If he don't take it, he ain't playing. That's just is what it is. You didn't do that. You talking about they paying him all this money. So his beliefs said he didn't trust the vaccines. Do I think it's misinformation or whatever? How I feel about, yeah, but I'm not questioning his character, who he is as a man or as a black man or as a person. I'm not doing that. I got past that shit a long time ago of getting mad at people that didn't want to take the vaccine or think that COVID was some type of fucking conspiracy theory. I'm past that shit. I don't feel like I have to prove that shit about how dangerous that shit was and how it still is. I lost family members that shit. I'm not arguing with you motherfuckers about that shit no more. Stephen A. Smith should have did the same thing. But no, he didn't. He got personal. Because Kyrie wouldn't get on that court and dance for him. Because I can't do my job if he ain't really. You can still do your job. There's plenty of athletes that took the goddamn vaccine, and it's better than, someone was better than Kyrie as a basketball player. Not knocking Kyrie, saying he ain't nice. He ain't no star or nothing. But or he ain't the most skilled basketball player in the game right now. I didn't question that. But you did that. But anyway, let's move on.
Durant and James Harden, you look at those situations, you just found yourself saying, damn, this is a bad situation. It's really bad. And Kyrie's name was all over it. And then he lost the sneaker deal and all he had was basketball. But the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason.
Stephen A., you see how he's talking about how he's downplaying what he helped do? You helped that happen to him. The sneaker deals, all that shit, with your rhetoric, man. You don't get to downplay your impact of what you help this man lose things because of your rhetoric and using your platform to downplay that man. You don't get to do that now, Stephen A. It's like no self-responsibility for these fucking coons. They don't take no self-responsibility. Like the whole thing, even with Colin Kaepernick, you was really one of the main problems. Anytime this man was standing up for something righteous, you would say, oh, yeah, I actually agree with him, but my bosses. So, Colin Kaepernick has to do everything the way Stephen A. Smith think he should do it. And it was the same thing with Kyrie. If he wasn't doing it the way that Stephen A. Smith thought he should handle some of these things, they wasn't shit. And like I said, I would never sit up here and say, I don't care what people say about me. Never say that. Never say I don't care about nobody. I don't give a fuck what nobody say about me. I'm gonna do me. I care about some things. But some things like Stephen A. Smith, he does to make it seem like we supposed to care about this shit because his white master tell him to go out there and spill that nonsense. He act like a lot of us supposed to give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck. Our people come first. If it's an issue going on with us, the occupation, the money is on hold for me. I don't know where you... Listen, I don't know... I ain't gonna say that. I don't know where you maybe forgot about that or you just didn't never have it in you. But I'm about my people. So if I feel like my people being attacked, under attack, nigga, fuck the occupation. Fuck your money. Fuck the money. If one of my people hurting, I'm hurting. We all should be hurting. That's unity. That's what black people are missing. That's why we the most disrespected. in this country. Shit, I would say the world, but I'm just going to speak on America. Because we ain't unified. We don't know when to get the fuck on code. We have cool niggas like this placating to racists. Like we have to understand where they're coming from. No, we don't. I don't have to understand a fucking racist, their point of view, or their bigotry. I don't have to fucking understand why. Where they're coming from. I don't have to do that. I learned that a long time ago. I learned that about 10 years ago. I don't give a fuck about what their point of view is. Bitch, if you're out of pocket and you fucking with my people, you out of pocket. I don't give a fuck about nothing what you say. Nothing. I don't care about what's your point of view. Unarmed black people are getting murdered and killed in the street. Children. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about racist people point of views? No! These racist pieces of shit beefed about a flag. Because if you want to be realistic about that shit, about that flag, it's a racist flag in a way too. The American flag is a racist flag too to black people. If you really want to be real. They ain't just roll around with Confederate. The racists ain't just roll around with Confederate flags, nigga. They had an American flag with them. The country was built on a bunch of racist motherfuckers enslaving people that look like me. So, to me, if you want to be real about it, I don't give a fuck about the flag. Like, I don't give a fuck about the national anthem and never will ever again. Long as I'm living, I don't give a fuck about it. Even if I die, God forbid it happen soon. But I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That shit is disrespectful to my people. I don't care about it. I don't know why people care about it now as black people. It's a part of our nigga, listen, America is, listen. Every time I think about black people in America, I think about the shit that these racists did to us. I don't see nothing good that what these racist that America has did good for black people. Nothing. It is nothing there. Not a goddamn thing. Because everything that, even with the positions that a lot of us are in, we have fought for. Our ancestors have fought for this shit. They didn't give us shit. We didn't have a silver spoon to get ahead. Even the most successful black people you see had to sacrifice themselves. Some way, somehow. You may just not know about it, but they have. So I don't give a fuck about America like people really, or I say the symbolism of a lot of this shit, the flag, the national anthem, all this other fuckery bullshit. I don't give a fuck about that shit. That shit does not represent me or represent my people. It just doesn't. Just like you gonna see niggas out here on 4th of July instead of celebrating Juneteenth. You're going to see a whole bunch of Negroes out here celebrating a motherfucking holiday that is very detrimental to our people. It wasn't freedom for our people on 4th of July, motherfuckers. But a lot of you motherfuckers going to go out there, barbecue, dance, put shit on. I'm not. Hopefully, I ain't even lie to you. Hopefully, I got to go to work. I'd rather work on 4th of July. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Black people, some of us are still so ignorant to the history of America. We still, kind of support racist shit and holidays and times. It's just weird to me. I don't understand that. I don't understand us help these racist motherfuckers in this country celebrate racist shit that harmed us. I don't understand that. I'm never going to celebrate 4th of July again. It's just never going to happen. But like I said, I'm different. I'm me. Motherfuckers, people don't see the world, see this country the way I see it. And it's okay. But, I mean, it's not okay, but it's okay to a point where, like, some of you motherfuckers, y'all will learn, and hopefully some of y'all will learn, and some of y'all may not learn. Y'all may still, die and still believe in this nonsense of America. And it's just ridiculous. Nothing really changed, people. I'm just telling y'all that. Nothing really changed. It's just that now that black people just can kind of move a certain type of way. But we still segregated. We still hate ourselves. Because these racists tell us every day of how bad and horrible we are. And we fall into the trap of it. It's just weird shit.
Postseason has been nothing short of spectacular. He deserves a lot of credit for it. But that was also what led to Kenny Smith revealing a very private conversation that he had with me about my past critical comments of Kyrie. And I shouldn't say past because at the time we had the conversation, that's when it was going on, and that's when Kenny Smith called me. Here's what he had to say last night on TNT. We couldn't play the sound, but here's the quote. At one time, Stephen A. was an advocate about having a battle.
Let me say this. The reason he can't play it, listen, people, you notice I don't give a fuck. I play anything. You know why he ain't gonna play it? Because he don't wanna get a copyright to where he doesn't make no money. But I heard the clip. Stephen A. Smith is a piece of shit. He do everything for the dollar. This is nothing what he says a lot of the times and he does is really genuine. It's for $1. We all know you about the money. We get it. We know you ain't got no morals and principles about yourself. So dismiss me with that. We couldn't play it. You could have played it. You just didn't want to play it because you wanted to make money off of this video. See, when I do videos, I genuinely care about what the fuck we talking about here. I don't give a fuck about the backlash of it. It comes, it comes. But this goofy motherfucker, it's about the money. Anyway, like I said, I don't be beholden to this shit or making money off of it. I make my own fucking money. I got another occupation. I don't need to do this shit. But I do it because this is my purpose of doing what I do. So it ain't the money. If people donate, they donate. They don't. I'm good with it. But we all know that Stephen A. Smith does with anything he does is for money. But anyway, let's move on. Just wanted to put that out there.
Battle with Kyrie Irving. I had to call Stephen. I'm like, this guy's from my neighborhood. I named like 6 people and I said, Stephen A., those people mentored you. They mentored him. So when you say something about him, you're actually saying it about us. And he said, I understood. Charles Barkley, naturally.
Let me say this. Shout out to Kenny Smith for saying that. I appreciate him. Because out of everybody on that panel like that, I actually respect him and Ernie more than Shaq or even Charles Barkley. Because sometimes Charles and Shaq say some of the most ridiculous shit that mind boggles the shit out of me. But I always ask this question. When Stephen A. Smith does a lot of the shit that he does and says a lot of the shit that he says, where's the people around him checking him and saying, hey man, when you're saying and doing shit like this, You're talking about us. Mind you, Kenny said the neighborhood, but I take from it as what I'm speaking on black people. Like you're speaking bad on us. And you're a black man. But that's why I used to always ask, like, what the fuck is the people around him telling him, yo, that ain't cool, Stephen A. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? The whole Colin Kaepernick shit, nobody went to this nigga behind us. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? You fucking up the movement. But Kenny Smith had to tell you, oh, you know, when you talk about him, he's from the neighborhood. You talking about us. And the only reason I think he even gave a fuck about it is because they grew up in the same neighborhood. People like Kenny Smith brothers and shit like that, Kyrie, all of them, they mentor him. Even when Kyrie uncle came out, he still ignored that shit. But Kenny, somehow, he listened. It's just mind-boggling to me that it took that. That he couldn't see that. Like, yo, it's certain shit that you stand on business on, but it's some shit you just gotta be like, yo, let me listen to my people. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I ain't hearing it. Maybe I ain't seeing or hearing what they seeing and hearing. But like I said, when you don't hold yourself accountable for certain shit, when you're not aware of your own behavior, you do shit what Stephen A. Smith does. He doesn't even see himself as the person that a lot of us see him as. He just think, you know, motherfuckers hating on me. Yo, Stephen A. Smith, let me just be real about you, bro. It ain't nothing you got that I want. You heard the slogan before. All money ain't good money. I don't give a fuck about your position. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I don't give a fuck how much success you have. I wouldn't want none of that shit if I got to act like you. So, you know, at the end of the day, Stephen A., it took this, huh? Wow.
Naturally followed up, saying this about Kyrie Irving following Kenny's comments, quote, he self-inflicted himself. Talking about Kyrie. He got to take some responsibility. I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. Stephen A.
Let me say this about Charles Barkley. And like I said, Charles Barkley says a lot of stupid shit out his mouth, and this is one of them. What self-infliction shit that he did? What did he do? He didn't want to take the vaccine. That's self-inflicting? No. That's his belief. That's not self-inflicting. The whole him posting the documentary that these so-called Jewish people got upset about, that wasn't self-inflicting. Some people took shit a certain way. That ain't self-inflicting. Come to find out, he wasn't being anti-Semitic. Nothing about the documentary to me was really anti-Semitic. It was just, you had some real pro-like black folks that was Jewish and was like, these motherfuckers stole a lot of shit from black people. That's all I took from it. Now, did I agree with everything? No. I'm not a religious person, so I don't agree with a lot of religious shit. I just don't. So for me, of course I'm gonna find holes in the shit to see, like, of course it's gonna be something when it comes to like religion that I'm just gonna not agree with. But do I think everybody in religion is bad? No. Because I think people really genuinely believe in what they believe in. Long as they ain't spilling hate. But when I watched the documentary, it wasn't about hate. So Charles Barkley, shut your bitch ass up. And I mean that genuinely. You have been saying a lot of coonery shit for the last couple of years, nigga. Nobody gives a fuck. Here and there you say some good shit that you stand on business with black people about, but nigga, a lot of times you off code. So I don't give a fuck about what Charles Barkley say. It ain't self-inflicted. Nothing was self-inflicting of what Kyrie did. He stood for something, regardless if we disagree with it or not. Everybody has their personal beliefs. And the problem with it in America is we don't respect that no more. The religious side of people can't respect that people don't believe in that shit. Right? They want to live under, live that way. Under that type of religion. Or religions. And then you got people that are not religious disrespecting religion. Because you don't see where that shit benefits you. And I get that, but you keep that shit to yourself. See, some shit is okay not to say. Right? But it's okay to say certain shit, but not push your agenda on others. If you're not religious, listen, people, I'm not religious. I don't push people not to be religious. Be religious. Do what you want to do. It's your belief. Long as it ain't hate, I'm cool that your religion is pushing. Or if you are not, even if you're not religious and you're pushing hate, I'm not good with that shit either. We have to get back to respecting people's belief or not believing. That's the issue. And people got to stop lying too. Stop lying about shit that you can't even prove. I can believe in a lot of shit, but that doesn't mean I can prove it. So why sit out here and act like it's the truth? It's not the fucking truth. Let's move on. So Charles Barkley, shut your fat ass up.
Stephen A. and other people criticized him. He rightly deserved it. You can't go out there and be anti-Semitic. He deserved the criticism he got. He deserved the...
That's another thing. He wasn't being anti-Semitic. Charles Barkley still on that bullshit. Do you know the crazy part about this is? You notice nobody ever in Kyrie's whole entire life that led up to that situation ever called him anti-Semitic. Ever. He hasn't. He doesn't have. It's like a white person, right? Is it very possible that a white person can lose their top and say some people can take it as anti-Semitic shit or even racist a little bit of some of the shit that they say, right? And you go look at their background and you be like, oh, well, nobody ever really said they was racist or nothing like that. Let me hear what they got to really say, right? I'm that type of motherfucker. But we live in a time now where people know better. So I don't have to go back and a lot of times look at certain individuals about their past. Right? If a white person be anti-Semitic, racist, right? I don't have to go back and look at their past. To call them a fucking racist. Because they know better. you're calling Kyrie anti-Semitic for some shit that wasn't anti-Semitic, right? Now I have to go back and look in Kyrie's past. Has Kyrie like been on some anti-Semitic shit? Right? Because it's unusual for people to be calling this man anti-Semitic. Right? Because I have never heard it. So let me go do some details of it. Because you know why? Because black people don't have the reputation of being anti-Semitic or racist or bigotry in this country, excuse me, like white Europeans. This is just facts. So now I got to do a deep dive in Kyrie. Let me see Kyrie if he was being anti-Semitic back at these times. I go back, there's nothing there. So now I got to give Kyrie the benefit of the fucking doubt. Let me hear from Kyrie. Kyrie, you been anti-Semitic, man? And then he explained it. I was like, okay, I get it. Then I go look at the documentary. I get it. Where's the anti-Semitic shit at? Where's a movement that is going around trying to harm Jewish people from black folks? I need people to see, this is what I need people to understand. Where was the movement then? If he was being anti-Semitic in the rhetoric and sparking the brains of anti-Semitic and racist shit, where was the people behind him pushing it to attack or hurt white Jewish people? You didn't see it. You seen the Israelites come out there to protect him and stand with him. But nobody, you see no Israel, you haven't heard a story. But you know what we always hear? When racist white people get out there like a Donald Trump of the world that we know that's racist, we keep trying to act like he's not racist. He sparks movements to hurt the Jewish community, to hurt the black community, to do a 9/11, to try to kill innocent Mexicans and minorities. We all know this. Oh, put gay and transgender people life in jeopardy. We have seen the movements. We have seen incidents happen. So when people like Charles Barkley with his dumb ass sit up there like he was being anti-Semitic, shut your dumb ass up. What movement he got that the movement pushed that really pushed for some violent shit, or it was a whole bunch of people out there being anti-Semitic, bitch? You don't see it. You haven't seen it. And so stop trying to push that narrative on black people. Now all of a sudden we're 2024. Now you want to start calling black people racist and anti-Semitic when we ain't got the history of that. I don't have to believe in what you believe in. And if the truth is the truth, of course it's going to hurt you. Sometimes the truth feel good. Sometimes it hurt. When I watched the documentary of that shit, the truth hurt them. That's why they was calling him anti-Semitic. Fuck out of here. The truth is the truth. And if the truth hurt, it hurts, bitch. I don't care. But what you're not going to do is try to act like we being racist or anti-Semitic because we speaking the truth about what your people have done. Now we anti-Semitic. We can't speak on the truth. And I told you that's what a lot of racist ass white people do. And I don't give a fuck if you're Jewish or not. Okay? Give a fuck what religion. That's what a lot of you racist ass white people have done in this country. Have, to this day, have sat there and tried to rewrite history. I noticed a lot of fucking Jewish people cut over this bitch, pretending that I understand what happened in the Holocaust. It was a horrible thing. Hitler was a horrible human being. But that didn't come from black folks. It ain't come from a Nigerian, or African, or Haitian. You can name any type of black person, or Jamaican. I don't give a fuck. It wasn't us that enslaved y'all, people, or did the horrible things that Hitler did, bitch. But we know that it was people that looked like you that did shit to us. We know that. don't give a fuck about you being Jewish. You don't want to talk about that shit. These motherfuckers get over here acting like the Holocaust was the biggest thing in America. It didn't happen in America, bitch. It didn't happen with black folks here. It wasn't no black people over there enslaving your people or doing the horrible shit that Hitler did. Wasn't the African nobody that looked like me. None of us. Actually, you know what we did do? The Jewish community. You know what black people did? Black Americans did. We helped take down Hitler. You don't give us props for that. And then look, this is the cherry on top. Some of you pieces of shit. Okay? The cherry on top of that is we was being just as disrespected as y'all were. You notice when we learn the history too. Some of my Jewish people. When a lot of our black people went over that fort for y'all, you know when we was bringing y'all back here, you know we couldn't sit amongst the whites, not even a part of you, the Jewish people. We had to sit our ass in the back. Like the back of the bus, we had to sit our ass in the back of the boat, back of the plane, or whatever the fuck we got back home. Did you speak up? Did you say any goddamn thing? Did your ancestors do anything about that? No, you didn't. Y'all been here for a long motherfucking time, and you have seen how they disrespected black folks. And you didn't join forces with us like you're supposed to. It was a little few of y'all, but it should have been way more than that. But you know what you do and here in this country? You create your own community. You ain't try to unify with black folks and like you actually can feel our pain, so you think we supposed to give a fuck about your pain? Huh? See, this shit go both ways. You can't ask us some shit that you don't do. But the difference is we're better than some of y'all. So we will speak up. We will fight for y'all. But a lot of y'all are coward out, sit back there and join forces with them racist motherfuckers. And you think that listen, not Kyrie, but Kanye, you get mad at Kanye all you want. I don't fuck with Kanye, but listen, a lot of the shit that Kanye said is not like he's lying. He's not lying about some of that shit when it comes to Jewish people. He is not lying. And I know the truth hurt to some of y'all Jewish people. It hurts. But it's the fucking truth. Now, he's the wrong motherfucker to be saying it, but I'm just saying. He's not lying about a lot of shit he was saying. As much as y'all disdain Hitler, a lot of y'all join forces with people that act like Hitler in this country. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Shout out to Country Wayne.
He deserved the suspension he got. But as a basketball player, I think he's really grown up, end quote. Let me say this. Both of them are right. Tackling.
And let me say this. Nothing about Kyrie game as him growing up as a basketball player has changed. Kyrie Irving, before this whole bullshit, and even now, is an NBA champion. He got more championships than motherfucking Charles Barkley fat ass. And you know what I'm starting to realize? Maybe Charles Barkley was overrated. I know some of y'all gonna get upset at me. Cause I don't like this whole notion that some of these basketball players got all this motherfucking opinions about some of these athletes that accomplish more than them. It was like the Shannon Sharp shit, because I actually agree with Shaq more than I agree with Shannon. Like, nigga, first of all, y'all got two different types of sports. And both sports is a team sport. Shaq accomplished more as a basketball player than Shannon Sharp did. So for a football player from the opposite sports to tell another athlete from a different sport that he was lazy, and he accomplished more in his sport than you did, Shaq is more famous than you are, Shaq made more money than you did in his sport. Listen, Kobe Bryant said, if Shaq had the work ethic that I had, he would be the greatest basketball player ever. This is coming from one of the greatest basketball players that ever walked the face of the earth. God rest the Mamba. So, for people like Shannon Sharp or any of these type of athletes, it's one thing of as a fan we look at it a certain type of way, but as an athlete, they should know better. And you know what I always have started to notice? These so-called athletes, right? That didn't really have a lot of the athletic ability as other athletes, and now they do what they do now. I put the work in. Okay, cool. You had to, because you wasn't God gifted as an athlete. It's like Kobe, right? I remember somebody said, I think it was Gilbert Arenas, somebody, they said Kobe wasn't as athletic as Vince Carter or somebody like that, right? But he had athletic ability. But what made Kobe great was the work he put in, because he understood. I kind of disagree a little bit. Kobe was just as athletic. He maybe couldn't jump out the gym as Vince Carter, but as an athlete, he's up there as a fucking athlete, or being athletic. You don't remember young Kobe? Young Kobe was jumping out the motherfucking gym too. Don't get that shit twisted. But the thing was, with Kobe understood, my athleticism, my God-gifted athletic ability will go away as I get older. And he was a student of the game, because his mentor and the guy he idolized and looked at did it. And he probably was more athletic. Jordan was more athletic than Kobe. Not that far from him, but he was more athletic. So it wasn't that Kobe was not athletic as the rest of them, but he was. He may not have been the top tier like a Vince Carter, like, because I always say the most athletic basketball player I've ever seen is Vince Carter. Nobody could do what Vince could do. Nothing. With anybody else, I heard Gilbert Arenas call Vince Carter lazy. Right? Wrong word to use. Maybe he lost his passion for the game. We couldn't, like I said, there's always something behind something. He called Vince Carter lazy. Niggas got in his ass, was like, hold on, bro, you tripping. You calling Vince Carter lazy? Now, let me just say this too, because I want to wrap this shit up, right? Put this shit in a nice bow. Let's be real about Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas worked so hard and dedicated himself because he watched Kobe Bryant, right? Part of it. And he had, God athletic ability. I give him that. But the reason that Gilbert Arenas is not mentioned with some of those fucking legendary, iconic point guards or greatest players, right? Is because of injuries. Smelling what that was. So if that's the case, though, Gilbert, can we call you lazy? Because physically, you couldn't continue to do what you was doing because of injuries, right? Vince Carter, right? He couldn't live up to all his full potential because he got mentally fucked up. You was mentally there, right? You was on that Kobe Bryant level mentally, right? But your body gave out on you. So can we call you lazy? Because like I keep telling everybody, in the beginning of your career, in any pro sports thing, you need to have your physical and your mentally strong. You're supposed to have both of those things. That's what sets you apart from others on greatness. So when it come to a point like the Michael Jordans of the world, the Kobe Bryants of the world, when they body was getting broke down, they mental kept them afloat. So what happened, Gilbert? Because we know Kobe was injured a lot. He had a lot of broken shit. We all know this. We know the Kobe Bryant story. Why didn't you fight through a lot of that shit? Can we call you lazy? Or can we say you was mentally broken? Because we heard you was depressed about some things. So your mental wasn't always there. So for you to criticize Vince Carter, that he didn't listen, we know that Vince ain't live up to his potential. We get that. We understand that. But to call that man lazy is bullshit. And it's the same exact thing with Shannon Sharpe. And the bad part about this is, for Gilbert and Shannon to call Vince and Shaq lazy, right? They accomplished more, even though they was lazy. The reason that Shannon can maybe say a little bit what he said, because he's a Hall of Famer, he's a top 5 greatest tight ends in the world. But nobody's mentioned Shannon Sharpe as a top 10 greatest football player that ever played football. Not top 10. But we consider Shaq that. Vince Carter is a Hall of Famer. If I'm not mistaken, is Vince a Hall of Famer? I don't know yet. I don't know if Vince is a Hall of Famer. But I guarantee you go look at Vince Carter's career, it's better than Gilbert Arenas. For him, so-called, to be lazy. Now, to say he didn't live up to his potential is another thing. We get that. But then you got to explain that. But to call that man lazy is bullshit. So people be like, well, Shaq was picking on the big men. Shaq picks on the big men like that because of the simple fact that he was a big man. And he was the most dominant basketball player. Fuck a center. He was the most dominant he's the most dominant basketball player ever. But he was the most dominant center ever. So he has the right to criticize them. None of them are Hall of Famers. Or none of those guys that he's going after even come close to what Shaq did. Nobody's going to mention a fucking what's his fucking name? What is your name? That he was beefing with. I forgot shorty name, and his mom got involved. Right? Rudy Gobert. He may make the Hall of Fame guy. They just put anybody in the fucking NBA Hall of Fame. It's almost like WWE. They just put anybody in that motherfucker. But he may make it when his career may be over. But Shaq sees something different. When you talk about, listen, do you think Rudy Gobert is a better defensive player than Mutombo? I gotta go look at the stats. But if I'm not mistaken, Mutombo is a Hall of Famer. He specialized in defense. When you talk about the greatest defensive players of all time, Mutombo comes up in that. Ben Wallace, the same shit. These guys come up in that. Now, do I think that they was Hall of Famers? If you look at it from the perspective of that's what they did as a defender, then yeah. But overall, no. What they skill level was, or what they was specialists of, yes, they deserve to be in there. But overall, no. Maybe Ben Wallace, because I had to take that back a little bit. I think because Ben got a chip, so gotta look at that. But anyway, let's move on. But I don't like that shit. I don't like people like Charles Barkley and some of those guys that ain't accomplished with some of these guys that they are criticizing. To get back to my point, criticizing these guys that they ain't even on the same level of that. Kyrie's a Hall of Famer. If he retires now, he's going to be a fucking Hall of Famer. And he's accomplished more than Charles Barkley. And listen, Charles Barkley wasn't no bum. Like, come on now. We ain't going to play like Charles was no bum. Okay? I think maybe 5 years that Charles probably was a superstar. Maybe. That's a maybe. They had almost similar careers, but the only difference is that Kyrie has a championship. And I think his stats is better. That's the only difference. But I think they are in the same type of, what's the name? But for people like Charles Barkley to be like, he matured and growing in his game and all that, he's been that. Y'all just decided to take personal shots at Kyrie and try to downplay what he has already has established. But anyway, let's move on.
Tackling Charles Barkley first. Kyrie did deserve to be criticized at the time that he was being criticized. And it's our job to tell a story. And that's what I did. When it was happening, I spoke about what was happening. So Charles Barkley's right about that. But nobody's more right than my brother Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith did call me. And when Kenny Smith called me, he spoke to me and he reminded me of guys. He mentioned 6 guys. I'll give you 3 of their names. One was Rod Strickland, former NBA player, spectacular point guard out of DePaul University and stuff like that. Rod Strickland is the godfather to Kyrie Irving.
My bad, people. Hold on. Something happened with the sound. Hold on, y'all. 1 second here. I think something happened to the sound. Let me go back.
And he reminded me of guys. He mentioned 6 guys. I'll give you 3 of their names. One was Rod Strickland.
No, I want to go back. I want to hear that bullshit he just said again. My bad.
Smith. Kenny Smith did call me. And when Kenny Smith called me...
No, that's not it.
He spoke
Let me go back.
Story. And that's what I did. When it was happening, I spoke about what was happening. So Charles Barkley's right about that.
No, you just didn't. That's the shit I want to get back. You didn't just speak about the story about Kyrie. You tried to defame that man's character. You didn't just criticize him for not taking the COVID-19. You started to disrespect and downplay that man's character as a human being, as a person, or even his belief, which you shouldn't have done. So you don't get a pass for just saying, "Oh no, I just was doing my job." No, you didn't just do your job. You didn't just say, "Look, I just disagree with Kyrie, man. You know, I think he should have took the COVID test to play. You know, but I respect his beliefs." That's not what you did, Stephen A. That's not what you did, man. And please stop pretending and stop trying to bamboozle the people, because you're good at doing that. Trying to pretend, I'm just doing my job. Bro, you're not just doing your job. You can just disagree. You can just say, "Look, these are the sources, these are the things I'm getting, I'm hearing back. I actually agree with them, but I'm not going to act like he's a bad person. But I notice when black athletes do things that you disagree with, you ridicule them and get personal more than your white friends. These are just facts, bro. You can sit up there and pretend I'm just doing my job. You're not. You're going overboard with that shit. You go overboard. That's why the Kyries of the world and people that you disrespect other brothers and sisters, that's why for me, I go overboard with you. And I don't even think I go overboard with you. I give you the same energy you give our people. The level of disrespect and a level of not caring about our movement and what we're supposed to be standing for as a people. So I give you that same energy back. Because I'm petty in that way. I'm not Kyrie. I'm not in his position. I'm not a politician. I don't give a fuck about Stephen A. Smith. I would tell Stephen A. Smith if I ran into Stephen and we ran into each other, I'd tell him straight to it, man, I don't fuck with you, bro. Please don't speak to me. I'd be nice about it. Please don't speak to me, man. You're not a brother of mine. I don't consider you that. You are not nobody that represent our people like you should. Please don't speak to me. Let's move on, man. I wouldn't be a fanboy, want to get his autograph and take photos with him, and fuck all that. No. Listen, I wouldn't even want to have a conversation with Stephen A. It's nothing Stephen A. Smith can explain to me of his behavior. It's nothing. Because I already know why you're doing what you're doing. I've seen this shit over and over again. We have seen it, people. We have seen the all-time high of coonery from some of our black folks. Of the coonery that's going on. And these niggas is sitting out there acting like the rest of us are tripping. It's like the racists sitting out there, they being racist, right? And then they try to reverse their racism on us and act like saying we being racist. That's what the coons are doing. They're like, "Oh, nah, you black people, you go too far. You go over the top. Why everything gotta be like that?" Because it has to. It is certain shit, Stephen A., we gotta be on code with. And if you ain't got the memo, that ain't our fucking fault, bro. That's not our fault, man. That's not our fault. You must have forgot, or you don't give a fuck. But either way, it's fucked up for me. But let's move on. But yeah, you can't have it both ways, bro. You can't say, "Oh, I agree with Chuck," but then now he gonna get in this thing where he can talk about, "Well, I understand where Kenny was coming from." You can't have it both ways, bro. You can't. Not in this situation. When the man was being accused of being anti-Semitic, you knew Kyrie personally. You knew his daddy personally. You knew his family personally. You knew Kenny, his godfather's Ross Strickland. You knew these niggas personally. And you knew that this man had no anti-Semitic bone in his body. You knew that. But you still went out there and did what your white friends told you to do. And then you try to wrap it up in a package to deflect people. It was my job. No. It ain't no job out here that will make me call a person a racist if they not a racist. It's no job or no occupation that will sit out here and make me go after my brothers or sisters or say they anti-Semitic if I know them personally. I've been knowing these people all my life. And until I hear from them, I'm not calling that person. I'm not riding that dumbass wave. You ride that wave. Nobody's saying you caught you said that Kyrie was being anti-Semitic, but you damn sure didn't defend him. You damn sure didn't. Not to my knowledge. Not from your behavior.
That. But nobody's more right than my brother Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith did call me. And when Kenny Smith called me, he spoke to me and he reminded me of guys. He mentioned 6 guys. I'll give you 3 of their names. One was Rod Strickland, former NBA player, spectacular point guard out of DePaul University and stuff like that.
Let me stop that right there. People, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm perfect. Understand what he's breaking down of people that he know personally that has told Stephen A. Smith to stop that bullshit. You got to remember, he had a conversation with Kyrie's uncle. He had a conversation with Kyrie. He had a conversation with Kyrie's father. And I know he probably had a conversation with Ross Strickland. And he still did it. He still did what he did. So, I understand people make mistakes. I know we're not perfect. I get that. But come on, man. Come on, man. His whole explanation for what he did is bullshit. You knew these people personally. You had conversations with them. I know you have because you admitted it that. And you still did what you did. But it took Kenny Smith to come and it clipped somehow. And you probably told Kyrie and all them, I'm doing my job. That your white friends told you to do. And so now we supposed to believe that you're genuinely sincere about disrespecting Kyrie the way you did. Nah, nigga, that ain't flying with me. Let's move on, man. This nigga full of shit. He always been full of shit.
That Ross Strickland is the godfather to Kyrie Irving. Another person was Gary Howard. Gary D. Howard, to be exact. Former deputy sports editor at the Philadelphia Inquirer, who was responsible for getting me there. When I was a high school reporter for the New York Daily News, he was the one responsible for getting me the college job at the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's also the former executive sports editor for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. At the time that Gary Howard was the executive sports editor there were 4 and ultimately reduced to 2 executive sports editors in the country, despite there existing hundreds of newspapers. Only about 2 were black. Gary Howard was one of them. He's a brown.
And this is why Stephen A. Smith is a disappointment to the black community. He came up through a lot of this bigotry and a lot of this shit that happened in that entity of what he does. He knows this. And it ain't so much has changed from then. Few things changed. You see a lot more black people, but I get it. But he's a gatekeeper. The one thing about a gatekeeper, a black gatekeeper, is that they've been through the struggle, right? And so when they get there, this is where the coonery shit come in. They get there and they be like, shit, I had to work hard, man. I had to go through all this shit. Man, and what the racists do in that environment, they put black people against each other instead of the black person pulling them up and that uplifting them. So they won't like if I'm in a position, I want everybody to be in my position. Like, you know what I mean, when it comes to my people and shit. I want you to be up here where I'm at. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the only one here. I want to have some people I can rely on that understands me. Not coons. Not coons. They want to fit in with them white folks. They don't acknowledge that they put in the work to put in all the, you know, that the harsh shit that happened to them to get there, the discrimination. It doesn't motivate them to say, let me bring some other black people up with me because I knew how hard it was for me to get here. No, their thing is, no, there's this white man gave me that opportunity, not these niggas. I don't have to help them. And I'm gonna make sure they don't get there because, nigga, I'm the token black nigga. That's Stephen A. Smith. He been through these struggles. He knows this. That's why I say he's not dumb. He's not a person that not knowing what he's doing. He knows that people sees him as a sellout. When a sellout tells you, I hear the people calling me a sellout, that means they know what the fuck they're doing to be a sellout. The thing is, they don't care. So, motherfuckers like me, I don't give a fuck about disrespecting you and calling you a coon and a sellout. If you don't care, I don't care. Because you know why? Because if somebody was calling me a coon and a sellout nigga, I would care. Especially if it came from my people. I would give a fuck about that. I would care. Actually, I'd probably get mad about that shit. I'll probably be just as angry as a white person called me a nigga. Or said some real, discriminating shit against me. Or did some discriminate. I would be, it's about there on the same level for me. My people can't call me no motherfucker sellout. Nigga, that's fighting material. You call me a sellout or coon? What? Remember my homeboys, you changed, nigga. Listen, you goddamn right, nigga. This coonery shit we doing out here. You want me to keep doing coonery shit out in these streets? That's different. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Because I know being out there doing that fuck shit like that and not really uplifting my people in no type of way and bring no positivity to us, that's coonery shit. When I was in the streets, coonery shit. All that shit, I was coonery shit. I was doing some coonery shit. Was I a coon? No, I was doing coonery shit. Because I didn't know no better to a certain extent. Didn't know how this shit affect our people. So, yeah, I was doing coonery shit. But as a coon, no, was a coon. So a motherfucker ever called me a sellout or a coon, nigga, we got a problem now. Especially now that I know better about coonery shit. Nah, you can't call me no motherfucker sellout. Nigga, that's damn near fighting words. I got a motherfucking problem. But Stephen A. Smith don't care about that because he knows who he is. He knows he's a sellout. He knows he's a coon. He knows the struggles that he's been through, and he still continues to do what he does. But he placated as, I'm doing my job. Okay, bro. You keep telling yourself that. You still a coon.
The Bronx native. Is very, very close to Dedrick Irving, Kyrie's father. They grew up together, knows him well. Gary Howard is also a friend and a mentor of mine. The other dude was Reggie Howard, that Kenny Smith was alluding to. Reggie Howard is Gary's brother. Coaches a lot of youth in the Bronx, very respected, street dude, very connected, the whole bit. And all of them talked to me. And they weren't disagreeing with what I was saying, but they were addressing the fervor with which I talked about Kyrie. And
you hear what he said? They didn't disagree with Stephen A. Smith. Listen, some of the shit that Stephen A. Smith was saying, I agreed. It's like the shit. Some of the shit that Kyrie was doing, I didn't like. I didn't like it. But you the way Stephen A. Smith got personal, and it's even worse when you know the person. I don't know Kyrie. I just see a successful brother, maybe going through some personal issues of, life. That's how I kind of looked at it. I didn't like a lot of this shit, but I don't know Kyrie personally, so I could have probably been a little too harsh, but I didn't turn down the man's character. Stephen A. Smith did that, and he knew Kyrie and the people that he's talking about personally. That's mind-boggling to me. And I don't need to know Kyrie personally to not to destroy his character, because we don't see eye to eye on certain things. I'm not doing that. But Stephen A. Smith does that. So like I told y'all, he knows he a coon. He knows he a sellout. He knows what he's doing. So this shit that he's saying is like bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's him trying to downplay his attacks on Kyrie. I'm still waiting on a goddamn apology to Kyrie, but maybe we get it in the next couple of minutes.
And I really didn't see it that way. I felt like I had looked out for Kyrie Irving on many, many occasions until I couldn't, and then I felt that his attitude towards me had changed, and it felt like betrayal. I let that go, but then when his father, I felt, came at me the wrong way.
How? You started it. You know why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you the real reason why he felt Kyrie came at him the wrong way. Stephen A. Smith got this God complex of shit. It's almost like that's why he said on Fox News and he defended Donald Trump. It's that God complex shit. Listen. You remember when Stephen A. Smith said it while, I don't know who the fuck it was, but he said it one time. He said, Dana White. I called Dana White before he even I came here to talk about Dana White. I talked to him for over an hour. Dana White is a friend of mine. He knows Kyrie. Now, Kyrie maybe came at him a certain type of way he ain't like because he didn't talk to Kyrie. And he went on air and he tried to discredit that man's character, even though he knows Kyrie. See, you gotta understand, if I know you personally and some information comes out about you, I'm going to talk to you first before I even speak on an issue about you. I can't speak on your shit. It was some shit, I can't get real too deep in it, but it was some shit that we found out at the, when we went to my aunt's birthday party about 2 weeks ago, right? And my uncle blurted some shit out That was a family secret. Nobody knew. Right? Well, me and my sister didn't know. Right? And I probably was a little too buzzed to really comprehend. I think it probably, I just don't remember it. But my wife said it was said. I just said that it's not my business. I'm not questioning the person about it. It's not my business. And who the fuck am I to judge? I don't know the whole story. I don't need to know the whole story. It doesn't affect me. I always tell people when shit does not affect me, it's not my business. To a certain shit is not my business. I understand the difference when shit is my business and when it's not my business. Stephen A. Smith decided to make it his business. Instead, he said he's doing his job. It was a way he supposedly did that, like he do for his white friends, that he didn't do that for Kyrie. Regardless if Kyrie didn't talk to him or not. I just got to alert people that the jury has breaking news. The jury has came up with a verdict for Trump trial in New York. I was going to do another story after this, a live stream, but that's probably what I do next if I find out the verdict. But he didn't do that with Kyrie. And if I'm Kyrie, I would feel a certain type of way too. You somebody I know, we supposed to be cool. You know my family. I know your family. Like, what are you doing? You know I ain't this type of person, and you to put that out there. Like, it was shit that he did. And then it's almost like somebody, it's like a bully. It's like a motherfucker do something to you, and then you retaliate back, and you whip their ass or something. Then they be like, oh, no, he did the fuck out of you. You've been terrorizing me for a minute. Now you want to play victim? But anyway, let's move on.
Way, I reacted like I react. I ain't backing up. And it wasn't until Kenny Smith placed that call to me that I had to look at myself differently. Because he reminded me of those numerous people that raised Kyrie.
And let me say this. It shouldn't have took those people to do that. This is how you know that Stephen A. Smith is a fake individual. And he's not genuine. He's not even passionate, right? He's just a dude. He's just an opportunist. And he has a big ass ego. And he doesn't take self-responsibility for what he does. He started this shit, and then he tried to act like it was Kyrie that made him feel a certain type of way. So you just ignore how you came at Kyrie? Regardless if you disagree with his position in certain shit, that's one thing, but you got personal. And then Kyrie reacted to it. Listen, people, only reason is if somebody did me wrong and they apologize to me, I usually sometimes apologize back because I went a little overboard. But that's the only I'm not apologizing because I responded to you fucking with me. I'm apologizing because I came outside of my character to do something to you which I probably shouldn't have did. Regardless of certain shit that you have done to me. But I'm not excusing my behavior of how I came at you. Well, I'm not excusing that I attacked you after you attacked me. Now I'm apologizing for the behavior of maybe I went to a little too far with it. But I'm not apologizing because of what you did and my reaction to it right away. I'm not apologizing for that. So I stand on that. But I usually apologize because sometimes I can go too far. I'm petty. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Listen, I can go overboard. I come from streets. I told you my mom's a wild card, nigga. My mama hit you below the belt. I have that in me. I'm a little mature than I used to be. That I try not to go so below the belt sometimes because I know how that shit can feel. But sometimes people push you to that point and you be like, man, enough of that shit. At the end of the day, I'm a good dude, but I ain't perfect. So I'll go to the extreme with you because I come from the streets and I don't give a fuck. You ain't just gonna hurt me. My wife used to say that she used to say I'm very emotional. I'm not emotional. I'm just passionate. I just don't listen, and I stand on you treat. I treat people how I want to be treated, and when you cross that line with me of not showing me the same type of compassion or respect in a certain type of way, then fuck you, man. Fuck you. I don't have no motherfucking love for you. Like, listen, I come from a different generation of a type of motherfucker. I was raised different. I don't have time, and I'm too old to be playing around with people. At this point, as being a grown-ass man, I know how to treat people. And if you don't have that in you, to know how to treat people, that's not my motherfucking fault. But don't get it twisted. Just because you don't have that in you, that's not an excuse for me. Nigga, I go low. You fuck with me on certain things, I will go low on you. Other things, I might brush it off. And the reason I might brush it off, because I already know how I'm going to react to it. It ain't about you. It's about me. I know me. So that, a lot of times I let shit slide, I let shit go, because it ain't no reason for me to go there. Because I already know how I am. You looking at it on a certain level. I'm doing certain shit and saying certain shit to me. You looking at it on a certain level. I'm looking at this shit on a whole nother level of what I'm going to do. So it ain't really about the motherfucker. A lot of times when I let shit go or I don't take that route with people on certain shit, it's because I know what I am going to do. And I have respect for myself to be like, nah, just because that motherfucker like that, I ain't got to be like that. Because if I get like that, that person ain't even on that level where I'm going to take it. So it's more about me than it's about the motherfucker that's doing fuck shit. But anyway, let's move on.
They also influenced me. And when I talked about Kyrie in the fashion that I talked about him, it wasn't just a reflection on him, it was a reflection on them. And when I looked at it that way, it gave me cause to pause.
First of all, you didn't think about that when you was out there spilling that shit. See, this is what I mean about not being self-aware. Not taking self-responsibility. Not actually, in a sense... Listen, I always tell y'all, a lot of people can't read rooms. And what I mean by that sometimes is that you don't even know how you look in the room to others. Sometimes people are so arrogant and have this so much high confidence in themselves that they forget that there's other people in the room that may perceive you a certain type of way. So that it comes from when people tell you they don't care about what people say. Stephen A. Smith says it all the time. I don't care how people see or care how people perceive what I say. When a person tells you that, that means that they do not know how to read a room. And what that means is, by them not know how to read the room, they don't know how they're perceived in the room. So there's no self-responsibility there. You don't take no accountability for nothing, because you think everything you do is right. And listen, as a rational human being, you cannot go around life living like that and moving like that in life, because you're not always right. Your opinion may make some sense, but it doesn't make it right. People have been in those situations like that. I know I'm right about a situation, but sometimes people take shit a certain type of way. And then I had to look back like, damn, I ain't want to fuck that relationship up, but I fucked it up with my arrogance. Or fucked it up with shit that I said out my mouth being a little too real. Right? Sometimes you gotta know when not to be. Is that shit they call keeping it real goes wrong. I learned that. You have to learn that. You know what I mean? You could be right about a situation, but sometimes you just gotta be like, I fucked up. I fucked up. I could have handled this situation better, instead of trying to be right about a situation. You get what I mean? But that's what comes with of knowing how to read a room and taking self-responsibility. When people do not know how to read rooms and take self-responsibility, they move around like people like Stephen A. And I'm not saying I haven't did it. I have done it before, but I'm just saying it's not a consistent thing that I do, because I'm not perfect, so I'm going to make that mistake here and there. But when you don't recognize that, and when you continue to do that same behavior, that means you haven't learned. You haven't learned anything from the past situation that you was in. So now I got to, if I do that type of shit, I could be like, damn, I can't do that like that no more. It's like, I know how to, if I make a mistake and I cross a line or something, I learn from my mistakes. Now, it's certain shit, when I know I'm 100% right, oh nigga, I stand on business. I stand on business. Hey, ain't nothing you can say, because I know I'm right. But people, a lot of times I'm only 90% right about a lot of shit. The other 10%, I could be wrong about a lot of shit. And sometimes you get caught up in your own beliefs and you just ignore other people's shit. I have done it before, so I know this shit. So anything I'm speaking on, goddamn net, anything I'm speaking on, and I'm talking to y'all about this, I have been through it already. So I'm not telling you some shit that I just made up, or I ain't been through, or you know what I mean? I don't like talking like that. I don't speak on shit that a lot of times I know nothing about. It's a lot of shit that goes on in the internet and the world and shit I don't know nothing about, so I don't speak on it. I ain't educated in it, I ain't been through it, so I don't know. So I just sit back and I listen. I educate myself. I don't pretend I know every fucking thing. And I don't pretend my opinion matters in every situation because I have an opinion, or because I'm in a position that where what I do on here to have an opinion about something. It's a cop-out. You don't know nothing about nothing. You ain't been through. Shut the fuck up and listen. That's how you learn. At the same time, people, what I said, it helps you know how to read a room and takes self-responsibility for yourself. Stephen A. Smith hasn't learned that.
And then I remembered having an argument on First Take on ESPN with Jay Williams, and Jay Williams wasn't even attacking what I said. He was attacking the energy and how I said it. And I thought about that, and I said, damn.
No, you didn't think about that. Because I can understand the moment, but even after that, you continue to do it. You continue to do it. And I think even me and Jay Williams, we almost said the same similar shit. Right? But he was in the presence of Stephen A. Smith and I wasn't. It's not about what you're saying that's wrong. It's the energy that you're bringing behind that. And not understanding the way you're coming at this shit. You're making it even worse when you're supposed to be protecting. We can disagree with our people, but we still have to protect them if they do wrong. Every race does that except for us. We can't, for some odd reason, a lot of our black folks can't find the balance of that. We go too far of protecting motherfuckers, or we go too far of trying to destroy our people when they do bad. And we forget we ain't perfect, but we have been taught for generations after generations to destroy one another, to take the shine from the next black person. You the chosen one. You the special black nigga. And we've been taught this shit generations after generations. And then somehow, some way, we sit back. Some of us sit back and we be like, damn, we should be. Progress should be way more. Black people should be more unified. Look what we're doing to each other. If we don't respect each other, if we don't have the common courtesy of like, that we can criticize each other. But hold on. Let's not cross that line with each other. See, the one thing I loved about my niggas that I grew up in the street with, we understood that. That's why still to this day, me and my niggas are cool. We don't hang around each other like that we used to and shit like that for certain reasons. Niggas respect, telling my man shit, you respect where I'm at in my life, I respect where they at in their life. It ain't on my level. I ain't on their level. We respect each other. Told my man that. Like, yo, we just gotta respect that. We just not in the same space. But I love you. Regardless if you see what I'm doing wrong or I see what you doing wrong, I still love you. We have to understand it as black folks. That's why we the most disrespected. That's why we can't unify. And then we sit back like, why we don't do this shit? Why we don't do black shit? Like black owned shit? Why we don't do this shit? It's because we too overprotective, where we don't criticize our people when we should, or we criticize our people to the extreme, where we should have be somewhere in the middle with that. Some, we got to fully protect them. Some, we can say, nah, fuck that. We ain't protecting you. Like a Diddy. We not protecting that nigga. Emotionally, Diddy is a broken man, but you did too much horrible shit, bro. And you hid behind it for years. Of all the accomplishments that you made, and you did that shit on purpose. You didn't give a fuck about our people. You took advantage of our people. But it just is what it is.
Damn. He's got a point. And then I ran into Kyrie. And we were at the Crypto.com arena, and Kyrie came up behind me, touched me on the back, and said, yo, bro, at this point, it ain't even about us. It's about you and my dad and the way y'all been going at each other. and y'all got me caught in the middle of it. And when he said that to me, it hit home. I picked up the phone, live from the Crypto.com arena, sitting baseline, and I texted his dad and asked his dad to meet with him. And his dad, being the class act that he is, agreed to meet with me in New York City a few weeks ago.
But not like how you was pretending that his dad and his uncle wasn't class acts. Even Kyrie, he wasn't even a class act to you. See, the class act shit, and Kyrie better than me. He better than me. But the class act that Kyrie is, and I respect that young brother. He wanna be. This ain't about me and you. It's about how you and my dad. Y'all got me caught in the crossfire of this bullshit. You need to handle that. It's kind of what Kyrie was saying. And Stephen A. Smith, for whatever reason, he went to go do what he did. He said he did what he did, and I'm not saying he lying about that. But listen, bro. I keep saying this. If you're not self-aware of what the fuck you're presenting and pushing, the energy that you push out here to people, you will be a Stephen A. Smith. You will do despicable, horrible shit that he does. Listen, am I glad that the shit got squashed with him and Kyrie and his dad and people that that knew Steve? They all knew each other. Yes, of course. But excuse me, for me, I'm going to prove that none of that shit matters to him. All this shit he's saying, I mean, people can say, at least Stephen A. Smith ignore. Okay, cool. When you are a sellout, when you are a coon, when you work for white supremacy, this incident doesn't change who he is, because he recognized something that he crossed the line on. He already knew he crossed the line. If Kyrie probably would have never walked up to him, he probably wouldn't did none of this shit he talking about. But anyway, let's go to a quick commercial break, people. We'll be right back. Alright, people, we're back from a quick commercial break. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you guys get the live streams when we go live, people. And if you can, donate to the channel. Go to OBF The Real, Cash App, and donate to the channel, people. We highly appreciate anything you guys could donate to the channel. Need more information to subscribe and donate to the channel? Go to OBF The Real, Cash App, and donate to the channel, people. It's down there strolling below the screen. Make sure you guys hit the like button when you come in and when you leave, people. And make sure you guys share the videos, man. It keeps the lights on. Tell somebody to know somebody to tell somebody to know somebody, okay? Alright. Now, listen. The one thing I wanted to say, too, before we move on, is that don't always judge a book by its cover. Right? I used to see Jason Williams, right, from he be on ESPN, and he's married to a white woman. He got mixed race kids, biracial kids, and I just thought he was a corny ass dude. Right? I still think he's corny, but I respect him. And you don't judge a book by its cover because it doesn't look the way you think it should look. Right? You got a white woman, you know what I mean? Talk real proper, talk like he got some fucking sense. So he comes off as a little corny. Right? Don't judge a book by its cover. I've been watching Jason Williams for years. Jay Williams for years. Right? And the one thing is consistent about him, he's staying with black folks. You may think he corny, you may not like that he with a white woman. Whatever. He's one of those black dudes. For whatever reason it is, he rides with black folks. He rode with Colin. He rode with Kyrie. You gotta understand that. Right? He criticized Kyrie. He criticized Kaepernick too. But he did it in a way of respectful to our black folks. And I appreciate that from him. Stephen A. Smith has a black daughter, has a black girlfriend, black baby mama, whatever, how you want to look at it. And that nigga is a coon. I can't call Jay Williams that. It wouldn't even. And he, no disrespect to him, he talks like a white dude. He's married to a white woman. But he stands for black shit. He never disrespects us. Not from my knowledge. So, listen. Don't always judge a book by its cover all the time, people, because it doesn't look the way you think it's supposed to look. Stephen A. Smith is surrounded by black folks, and he's still a sellout. But let's move on and talk the slang and all that. You know what I mean? Talking about I'm from the streets, I'm from the hood, and I'm from the hood. I ain't saying from the street, but I'm from the hood. But he's a sellout. He's a gatekeeper. So don't judge. Let's move on, man. That's why I always tell people, be very, very, very careful who you calling coons and sellouts. Because you disagree of ideology sometimes, or maybe certain issues. You got to be very careful of doing that. So, that's all I'm saying. Let's move on. Shout out to Jay Wills, though.
Weeks later, we met, we talked. Both of us apologized to each other for how we construed how one was coming at the other, etc., and we've been cool ever since. And when Kenny Smith brought that story up yesterday, it reminded me of the role that I play, the responsibility that I have, and I'm not one that usually gives a shit what anybody thinks. I stand on what I stand on.
See what I'm saying? Listen, people, I tell people, when I'm right about something, I stand on business. I don't give a fuck. Right? But when a part of me knows I'm wrong in a situation, I can't stand on business. Because I'm wrong. I know it. I acknowledge that I'm wrong. When Stephen A. Smith said, I don't give a shit what nobody says. I usually don't give a fuck. Well, stop saying that you don't care of what people think. Because you do. You just proved to everybody that you actually do. So stop saying it. See, words matter to me. When people say certain shit out their mouth, it matters to me. And it shouldn't matter to y'all. He cannot continue to go around and say, I don't give a shit and I don't care what people say. But you actually do. Because this is a situation that you actually gave a fuck about. And it actually made you rethink what you were saying, nigga. And how you came at that brother and his family and people that was close to him and people that was close to you. So stop saying that you don't give a fuck. You don't give a shit. You do. So this is why I keep telling y'all he hasn't learned anything. And I'm going to prove that he didn't learn any fucking thing. But let's move on.
Stand on, I feel the way that I feel because I pride myself in being man enough to acknowledge when I'm wrong if I think I'm wrong, because I think it's rare. But I was wrong. And for Kenny Smith to tell me that.
First of all, people, as a person, I tell y'all I'm usually right about 90% of the shit I talk about or how I react to shit. I would never tell y'all that I'm rarely wrong. A lot of times I'm wrong about some shit. If I ain't never told y'all that before, I'm usually wrong about a lot of shit. Because you gotta understand, a lot of, I can only speak for me. A lot of times when I speak about a lot of issues, it's personal to me. But at the same time, I take shit personally. So sometimes when you take shit personally, it blinds you from facts or not listening to others because you want to be right. It's almost an arrogant, complex type of shit that people have. It's a confidence. You have confidence, but it's an arrogance that everybody has. Everybody has an arrogant part of them. And so I had to understand that. So when I say I'm 90% right about shit, I'm usually 90% right about shit. Right? It's the 10% where I'm wrong. But I would never say I'm 90% right about shit. Like, and what I mean by that is like, just because I'm right about something doesn't mean it's the right way. How I handle it and how I may speak about it doesn't make it right. If that makes any sense to y'all. I could be right about the situation, but it's how I handle it. How I speak on it. And about 50% of the times, I don't handle it right. I don't speak on it right. But I'm probably right. But that doesn't make it right. Because in my behavior and the way I speak on it and how I speak on it may fuck my whole point of me being right about it. And that usually happens 50% of the time. See how that goes? See, this is where I go back to. Taking self-responsibility and knowing yourself and knowing how to read a room. You don't have these things, people, you will be Stephen A. Smiths in the world. And there's a lot of y'all like that. You just don't get it. I'm right about a lot of shit. It's a lot of times it's about how I speak on it and handle it, and then I'm wrong. I'm just fucking wrong about it. No matter if I'm right about the situation, how I handle it made it wrong now. So regardless if I was right about the way how I handle it and I spoke on it, is wrong. So the shit I was right about means nothing. Because I didn't learn how to conduct myself in a way to handle it. But let's move on. Mind you, this is a 50-something-year-old man. I'll be 43, and I know this, and this bitch nigga don't know this. Come on, man. Let's move on, man.
Yeah. It hit home in a big way because we go back more than 30 years, and I can count on two fingers how many times he's thought I was wrong. And so his friendship, his brotherhood means a lot to me, but it also reminded me of the brotherhood of all of those that mentored and have been there for Kyrie. And it reminded me of somebody like my colleague at ESPN, Jay Williams. I love Jay, but we definitely don't see eye to eye on a few things, but damn it, when he's right, he's right. And he was right. I didn't think he was right at the time. But when you reflect sometimes and you see things for what they are, you got to man up and accept it. And that's what I wanted to do.
People, it's one thing to admit that, right? And I'm gonna be fair. I give Stephen A. Smith credit for this, for what he's saying. I give him credit. The problem with that is, you turn around and do the same shit again. And I'm gonna prove that you did the same shit again. Okay? You have to learn from your mistakes. Listen, people, I had an incident with an OBF member. Relationship ain't good to this day because partly how I handle it. Regardless if I was right about it, how I handled it and spoke about it was wrong. So I learned from it. I try not to go in other relationships and handle it the same way. Have to be very careful, right? I have to be self-aware of my actions. I had to start learning, like, damn, I be tripping sometimes. I gotta work on that. You haven't heard that from Stephen A. Mind you, what he said was, he didn't apologize to Kyrie. He said, me and Kyrie, we spoke whatever happened. I apologize. He apologized. That's not how that goes, bro. That's not how that goes. I always say this. OBF member still mad. Whatever. How this person feel. It's okay. Listen, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but I'm okay with it. Because of the status. People can't forgive you or want to fuck with you because you apologize. It's up to them to accept that and want to fuck with you. You can't make people do that. Right? Like, but you only could apologize. Right? I still believe I was right about a lot of shit, but it doesn't matter. Because I lost somebody that was very close to me, that I genuinely fuck with, and still got love for to this day. Right? But what I did crossed the line for them. So I have to only get better. Not sit there and be like, oh. Like, if I had this conversation with this person, I can't be like, and I did that. I think I did that too. And I think that made it worse. I did the same shit Stephen A. Smith did. Trying to act like, well, look, I apologize, but I know I was right. Nah, you can't do that. You made the situation worse of your behavior. Regardless if you was right. So I didn't understand that. And just understand that. It's like, it's no self-responsibility. It's no self-awareness of like, dude, it ain't really about, you crossed the line. Regardless if you was right, you crossed the fucking line. And I had to get that through my thick ass skull. Like, no. I can't be mad at this person. I crossed the line to them. And listen, and for me, I thought I did worse when we got into issues and shit. Like, I said some shit, but this was different, and I had to wrap my head around that. I didn't think it was that different or worse, but to them, to this person, it was. So I had to understand it. I had to accept it. I can't keep saying I was right about it. I shouldn't even be apologizing if I think I'm right. And usually when I'm right about shit and I stand on business, I don't apologize. Fuck I'm apologizing for. So now, if I'm apologizing, I have to understand it doesn't even matter about me. Whatever I was right about. I crossed the line. You have to accept that. You cannot make excuses with that. That's why this whole shit, it wasn't even an apology. He didn't even apologize to Kyrie, but it just wasn't, it's not genuine. It's not taking self-responsibility. Even if you were right, you crossed the line. People have to understand the difference between that. You could be right about some shit, but you could cross the line of how you present it and saying it and doing things. I had to learn that. And I'm 40, I'll be 43, bro. God willing, in a month and a half. A month. What the fuck? Why Stephen A. Smith don't understand that? This man is 50-something years old. He has way more life experience than I have, and he don't understand that? Come on, man. Let's move on, man. Let's end this shit.
And so, I'm glad that Kenny Smith told that story. I'm glad that he said what he said, because it was 1,000% accurate in the exact context that he said he spoke to me. He absolutely, he said it 100% on point. I've been pissed a lot lately for having my words misconstrued, for people using it for clickbait, just to interpret.
Stephen A. Smith, and I'm going to stop you there, and that's the end of that dumbass shit. Because now he get back to playing victim again. Listen, bro, nobody takes your words. I say me. I don't take your words out of content. You know why I don't? Because of who you are, your character, and who you are, who you present yourself to be. So I don't take anything out of content. That's number one, nigga. Then number two, I don't give a fuck. You have proved to me that you are a sellout. You are a coon. You are a house nigga. And that won't change for me. It ain't nothing Stephen A. Smith can do that would change anything of my thought process of him, or how I think of him. It doesn't matter. You can call it bias, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But this man over and over has proven that he's not who he say he is. And if you're not going to be standing on business and standing on who the fuck you really are, I have no time for it. You can't play both sides with me. That is not happening. I am not doing that shit with you coon ass niggas. I'm not doing that. It is a difference between brothers and sisters disagreeing with each other. It's another thing of doing coonery shit. It is a different level of that. It is so different. And I'm not going to sit here and placate with people like these coon ass niggas like Stephen A. that try to act like, oh, no, I get. No, you don't get it, nigga. You don't get it. Because you continue to do the same shit over and over again. And then you act like we the ones tripping. I'm not doing that with you. You're not going to spill that nonsense. I had to tell myself that. Like, if I'm wrong about some shit, right? If I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong about some shit, listen, and I realize that I'm wrong, regardless if I thought I was right about some shit, but I carried this shit way too far, I'm not right no more. So now I'm the one that crossed the line. Regardless if I think you crossed the line and I was right about it. But if I cross that line as a person that has morals and I believe having morals about yourself and principles, I can't say I'm right. Can't keep running around here pretending that I was right about it. Listen, I always told y'all I don't need people to be around me to have confidence about who the fuck I am. I done worked on myself for years to be as confident as I am. Used to have real low self-confidence about myself, right? But I don't need people around me. I figured that out a while ago. That I don't need a whole bunch of people around me to make me feel good about myself. I feel good about me. I love me. I love me some me. Listen, as much as it saddens me to talk about a lot of the past shit that mentally broke me and the shit that I speak to y'all about. It actually makes me a better person. All the pain, all the suffering I've been through, I'm good. Now that I see the results of who I became, I'm good. So my confidence is high. So I don't need a whole bunch of niggas to make me feel good about myself. But at the same time, I'm not ignorant to that you don't give a fuck about what people think about you. That's just irrelevant. It's irrelevant to think that. Because you wouldn't have the confidence that you have if you didn't care about what people said or say about you. So you care either way, however you look at it. Do I care about everything that somebody says about me? No. Because I know me. I'm confident in who I am. But don't get it twisted. Yeah, shit bothers me. People say certain shit. Yeah. How people perceive me? Yeah, of course it does. Certain shit? Yeah, it does. I'm not going to sit there and lie. See, that's another one thing, too. People lie to themselves. We like to lie to ourselves to try to build our confidence up. That's not how you build your confidence up or have confidence. To lie to yourself. Don't lie to your fucking self. Acknowledge your frauds. I mean, acknowledge your frauds. Acknowledge the things that you are not good at, or the things that doesn't make you shine really good in the light. Your flaws. Your flaws. Acknowledge your flaws and work on them. But you'll never be perfect in any of your flaws or anything that you even do good. You're never going to be great at it. You're just not. Because there's always going to be flaws there. That's why we are flawed human beings. That's why we are not perfect. Because if we was perfect, we'd do everything right. It wouldn't be no racism, discrimination. You wouldn't think evil things. None of that shit. You wouldn't behave a certain type of way. You wouldn't treat people in a bad way if we was all perfect. It's not life. It's not reality. You live in a fantasy land if you think that. So, anyway, people, leave your comments, hit that like button, support your boys, your boy, Mr. OBF. Peace and love to the world.